Welcome back, everybody. We are back together here with another video, and we're going to be talking about, I believe this is actually on Disney Plus, Proud Family. Now, have you ever heard of this before?
No.
Now, apparently this actually came out like 20 years ago on Disney, and they rebooted it or restarted it. I'm not really sure, but it's supposed to be a kid's show. And of course, 20 years ago, I was still an adult, so I never watched it. But I believe it's about mostly black people, black families, and stuff like that. Now, last year, we found out that Disney had a quote-unquote not-so-secret gay agenda, and they wanted to push a lot of woke stuff. This thing apparently hits the woke jackpot. If there's a jackpot on wokeness, this will probably be it. Now, you saw some of the clips, right?
Yeah.
What did you actually think about it before we actually start watching some of these clips?
Well, I was wondering, what is the point? That they are, well, because it is on Disney Plus, so they are not just pushing this, what's it called? Woke stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah.
In America, but around the world, because Disney Plus is not just in America.
Majority of people watching are going to be right here in America. I mean, this thing went like full BLM, Marxism, communism, LGBT. Look at this right here. This came out a year ago. The trailer dropped a year ago. The Proud Family Louder and Prouder trailer shows gay dads. Now, I'm not going to play the clip here because I don't want to get copyrighted, but these two guys right here are gay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they hit the LGBT jackpot, but the BLM activism, I mean, BLM is pretty much in the gutter right now. Nobody trusts them. They spent all of their money, the millions and millions of dollars buying mansions and stuff. You know, they're supposed to be Marxists, but apparently they're really capitalists, by the grift.
The woke capitalists?
Yeah. This is supposed to be for kids.
Yeah, but as you say, like, majority will be, the American will see this.
Yeah, well, this is designed for a woke American audience.
Well, I don't know, because people from other country, they have Disney Plus, and like Taiwan.
Well, this probably ain't in China. I don't really know, to tell you the truth.
Well, Taiwan is the first country.
But I don't think all of the content is available in all the countries, though. I think it probably just depends on, the country. But I'm not really sure.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. But look here. Disney Plus Proud Family Kids series pushes reparations, claims U.S. was founded on white supremacy. The woke jackpot right here. Man, Disney is just so full of far left activists right here. Let's read it, I guess. The Disney Plus animated kids series, The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, is pushing reparations for slavery, claiming in its latest episode that America was founded on white supremacy and still has not atoned for its racism. In the episode titled Juneteenth, which began streaming last week, 14-year-old Maya learns that the founder of her hometown, Smithsville, was a slave owner and organizes a student protest around a monument to the man. And that's actually, I believe in this first clip right here. We're going to check that out. Now, they're talking about Juneteenth. Have you ever heard of Juneteenth?
No.
Let me tell you this. It's supposed to be the day when slavery, quote unquote, ended, when it really didn't end. That was the whole 13th Amendment. But the thing is, nobody actually knew what Juneteenth was till roughly like a year ago. Mm-hmm. When they were pushing this on Juneteenth holiday. I don't know any black person that's ever celebrated it at all. Now, Juneteenth was actually when the Union Army actually finally came over to Galveston and told the slaves there that they were free. But that was in 1865, if I'm not mistaken. But slavery didn't end officially until December 1865. But we got to watch this first clip right here, because this is about them protesting the monument of their city's founder right here. And keep in mind, this is supposed to be little kids, and also they're trying to make the police look like the bad guys, because, you know, the Marxists, they hate police, right? Mm-hmm. Let's watch this.
Officers, please put these little kids in cuffs, y'all. Audience, no photos, please.
Why are you in riot gear? We don't see no riot here. Come on, y'all. Here come Wizard Kelly and his goons. Penny, stand your ground. Why are you in riot gear? We don't see no riot here. Intimidate us.
Barry, don't just stand there. Do something.
Let's go.
They're gonna arrest our baby. Do something
You see, him and that other white guy, they're the gay dads.
with your white privilege.
Wait a minute, he told him to use his white privilege. Oh my goodness. Watch this.
They're gonna arrest our baby. Do something with your white privilege.
White privilege. My goodness, this is what they want your kids to see. Alphabet stuff, activism. This is to make little kids become activists and be outraged at white people. Now, I don't know if I've actually said this on this channel here, but when it comes to slavery, guess what? Guess where slavery was? All over the world. Mm-hmm. Regardless of race. And white people were enslaving white people. Africans were enslaving African people. Asian people were enslaving Asian people.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think of this clip? Is this even appropriate for little kids to see? I'm assuming this is supposed to be for like 5-year-olds.
I don't understand why are they pushing this instead of like teaching them, you know, the real history, you know.
Well, they want them to be angry. They want them to be angry at their country.
History.
They wanted to be angry at their country, even though this is a fictional city. But this is clearly based on the BLM riots when the communists were out there in the streets tearing down statues.
But what's the point of showing this? I mean, would help the country like...
No.
No.
It's going to be more divisive.
Yeah, it's going to, you know, more divide, you know, people and like increase hate and stuff like that. I mean, but if...
It definitely sounds like they want more racial division.
Yeah, instead of people coming together and understand each other. But if on the other side, if, you know, they promote more like, you know, the real American history and the world history, then, you know, it'd be a different story, you know.
Yeah. The next clip, it does say here, later the students stage a musical performance where they demand reparations and smear the U.S. as a racist country. The performance includes the refrain, "This country was built on slavery," which means slaves built this country. This is this clip right here, and it's nothing more than woke propaganda. So let's check this out.
This country was built on slavery, which means slaves built this country.
Tilled this land from sea to sea to sea. First there was rice, tobacco, sugar cane.
Then Whitney did his thing and cotton became king. And we were its soldiers,
4 million strong.
fighting for America's freedoms, even though we remained America's slaves.
Built this country. The descendants of slaves continue to build this.
Slaves built this country. And
This is
we,
cringy.
the descendants of slaves in America, have earned reparations for their suffering.
And continue to earn reparations every moment we spend submerged.
Oh, wait a minute. I just saw that. Hands up, don't shoot. They're talking about the Michael Brown shooting. The lie was that Michael Brown had his hands up and he said, "Don't shoot," and the police shot him. When in reality, Michael Brown went after the gun of a police officer trying to take it from him. So this whole hands up, don't shoot thing, that's a lie. But anyway.
Reparations, every moment we spent submerged in the systemic prejudice, racism, and white supremacy that America was.
They brought the Klan in right there. In a kid's show. The Klan. Well, tell the truth, it's a bunch of Democrats.
That America was founded with and still has not atoned for. Slaves built this country.
Not only field hands, but carpenters, masons,
Blacksmiths, musicians, inventors built cities from Jamestown to New Orleans to Banneker, Washington.
40 acres and a mule.
We'll take the 40 acres, keep the mule. We made your families rich. From the southern plantation heirs to the northern bankers
To the New England ship owners,
the founding fathers,
Former presidents.
current senators,
The Illuminati, the New World Order,
slaves built this country. We had Tubman,
Turner.
Frederick D.
Didn't they say Lincoln freed the slaves?
But slaves were men.
and women, and only we can free ourselves. Emancipation is not freedom.
Jim Crow, segregation, redlining, public schools, feeding private prisons, where we become slaves again.
As we celebrate Juneteenth for the umpteenth time.
Wait, I have
Okay.
a question.
Yeah.
Was it Abraham Lincoln that freed the slave?
Yeah. When it came to the Emancipation Proclamation, it freed the slaves in the rebellious states, in other words, the Confederate states. And there was still slavery in the Union. I believe there was like 3 states in the Union that still had slavery because they didn't rebel. The Emancipation Proclamation, and people probably don't realize that, it pretty much was an illegal order, really. It wasn't going to hold up. That's why they came up with the 13th Amendment. It was pretty much a temporary hold because the president really isn't supposed to act like a dictator by decree. So that's why they needed the 13th Amendment.
Do they know that?
They don't know the history.
No, do they know that, not just in America, but other country, they probably don't have the, like, every detail of American history like in America, but they do know that Abraham Lincoln freed the slave.
Yeah, but let's watch.
In some way.
I believe that they mentioned a little bit more of it here.
Our account is still outstanding.
Because this country was built on slavery, which means
Slaves built this country. And we demand our 40 acres and a mule.
Bump that. You can keep the mule.
Keep the 40.
Now, the 40 acres and a mule, slaves were supposed to get that.
Okay.
But Lincoln got assassinated. And one of the mistakes of Lincoln, he picked a Democrat in Andrew Johnson to be his vice president, thinking it would unify the country. So when Abraham Lincoln was actually assassinated,
Yeah, we saw
Andrew
the movie.
Johnson,
right?
Andrew Johnson became the president, and he was a Democrat. He actually got impeached. He was almost removed. He was terrible. I believe the country. I mean, he pretty much destroyed Reconstruction from the civil. He was a terrible president.
We're taking our freedom.
And the people cheer for that.
I have a question.
Yes.
So immigrants who came here early, they don't count?
Now, here's the thing. Yes, did slaves build the country? Yeah, they were part of it also.
What
But
about immigrants?
The Chinese came over here and they built the railroad system.
Well, not just the
They-
Chinese,
yeah.
but
I mean, but for the most part,
other country,
Yeah.
people from other countries.
Yeah. What about the great migration at the turn of the 20th century when you had massive migration over here to the United States? Do they realize something?
But one may argue that they are not slavery, so they are better off. But
Well, look at this. When it came to slavery, you want to know the percentage of people that actually own slaves?
how much?
Probably about 10% of people in the United States doing slavery actually own slaves. Slaves were super expensive. It's not like you can actually go to the grocery store and buy like a can of beans. It wasn't like that. Slaves are really, really expensive. I mean, some slaves, they're paying like $600, which is, how much would that be today? Thousands upon thousands of dollars. And people had to actually take out mortgages. I'm assuming, I don't know the number exactly what $600 would be. It'll probably be like something like $30,000 today or something like that. I don't know. they were super expensive. The average person couldn't afford that. At the turn of the century, if you actually talk to a lot of white people today, they're going to tell you most of their relatives came here after slavery, the turn of the century. A lot of people came from Italy. A lot of people came from other countries. And this whole they're pushing reparations. Nobody today has been a slave in this country. Nobody. No. But Disney is pushing this stuff out there. This is ridiculous, man. Proud family. See, this is all about pushing an agenda. Oh, they bring up Baymax too with the transgender man.
Do they really think that they are the only one who suffer and no one will suffer?
Well, if you ask the Wokesters out there today, America is the only country that had slavery ever. They probably would believe that. They really would. They want you to believe that this is the worst country on the planet.
No, do some people also believe that Black was the only one who will suffer and no other skin colors?
Oh, they had, man, the Irish people suffer here too. Probably not as bad as Black people, but the Irish people were really discriminated against here. I mean, yeah, Black people are probably at the bottom of the totem pole, but the Irish were only slightly higher. Remember that movie with Tom Cruise, right? Far and Away?
Yeah.
Yeah. You saw how they treat the Irish people, right?
So it's like there's like history about like Chinese and Japanese and other, skin color who came here and
during World War II, the Japanese considered the Chinese people to be inferior.
Yeah.
So, but what do you guys think of this?
So the Japanese internment camp doesn't count?
Well, that was a Democrat president, Franklin Roosevelt, who actually did that. That was pretty bad right there.
Or the Chinese Exclusion Act doesn't count?
Yeah. But what do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of Disney Plus going full Marxist and BLM, pushing a whole bunch of leftist propaganda? Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. That's all I got to say about this. Until next time, we'll catch you on the next video.
Goodbye.